Right now, it feels like the entertainment world is ruled by Marvel, and while I do enjoy some of that, my heart will always belong to DC, because DC animation is what I grew up loving. I still believe the DCAU is the best thing to ever air on television, and while the live action adaptations have their ups and downs, the animated movies and shows will always be the best in the biz. So this month, I'm going over some of the best animated DC shows and movies they have to offer. But this year, in honor of Kevin Conroy, I'm going to be focusing on some of the Dark Knight's greatest adventures. His best episodes, movies, and specials, all elevated by his voice. Join me every day this month as I celebrate DCember. What better way to start this month off with than the first episode of Batman the Animated Series? The show that would kick off the DC animated universe, bringing us what I think is the best version of every DC character they tackled. And I couldn't imagine a stronger start. On Leather Wings wasn't the first episode to air, but it was the first episode made. This is actually one I haven't watched in a while, because when I was a kid, I wasn't that into Man-Bat, who stars as this episode's villain. I like when Batman goes up against people who are broken like him, because it makes for an interesting dynamic. And Man-Bat always came off as a mindless beast to me. But I was a dumb kid back then, because this episode is nothing short of flawless. This is everything you want in a Batman property, and everything you want in a pilot. Immediately the setting is laid out as we catch our first glimpse of Gotham, a city that feels like it's stuck in perpetual nighttime. Technology feels both outdated and high-tech at the same time, and it feels like there's always an undercurrent of dread present, but one that the citizens have either forgotten or gotten used to. The episode starts with a blimp driver catching a glimpse of a bat-like creature.
There it is.
There what is?
It looked like bat wings.
Bat wings?
Before that same creature attacks a local pharmaceutical company. Of course, Detective Harvey Bullock immediately decides it's Batman, and uses this attack as an excuse to try and nab him for good, while the commissioner, Jim Gordon, has doubts, considering Batman has never done anything like this.
Listen, it's just not Batman's MO.
And the whole time, Batman is trying to figure out what this creature is, and how he can stop it before it attacks again. One of the most impressive things about this episode is how it immediately sets up nearly every important character dynamic in just 22 minutes. Bullock's distrust of Batman and his willingness to do anything to stop him, Gordon's trust and respect for Batman. There's even a good scene with Batman and his butler Alfred that perfectly shows the playful banter that Batman has with the only person left that he truly loves.
Somebody's setting me up.
My heavens. You mean it wasn't you tossing guards out of windows last night?
I only toss butlers, Alfred.
It's all top-notch stuff, and it lays the groundwork for what these relationships would become in the future. You even have Harvey Dent, the man who would one day become Two-Face, flipping a coin in the shadows. A nice bit of foreshadowing for all the comic fans that were in the know at the time. And the voice acting is perfect. Every single character was casted flawlessly, with Kevin Conroy being the cherry on top. His performance as Batman is amazing.
I would say, sir, that we have ourselves an incongruity.
Incongruity, Alfred? He's lying, and I'm gonna find out why.
Commanding, determined, but what got to me the most is just how much Batman smiled. Not just talking with Alfred, but when it seemed like he figured out how to cure Man-Bat, you can see how happy he was just to have helped someone. It's nice, and I love seeing that in Batman. The worst thing you can do is portray Batman as an emotionless, deep-talking machine of justice. He's human, he has feelings, and Kevin Conroy's Batman is the pinnacle of expressing that. It's also great seeing him do his Bruce Wayne voice.
Yeah, Doc. See, I keep hearing squeaks in my chimney, and I found these in my empty fireplace. They look like hairs. I thought maybe you could tell me if I have a bat problem.
A lot of people wonder how no one figures out he's Batman, but if you spent 1 minute with this guy, you wouldn't even dream of him being the Caped Crusader. He's too dopey, too affable. The way he carries himself and talks makes it clear that he is no Batman. But every so often, you see flashes of Batman in him. Just small moments of animation that tell the truth that maybe he isn't as dumb as he lets on. Which brings me to the animation. There is no other way to say it. It is gorgeous. For this episode, the animation was provided by Spectrum Animation, a studio that was made out of former TMS animators. And if you're familiar with TMS, then you know what kind of quality you're in for. The sweeping shot of Batman as he struggles to get a hold of Man-Bat, the chase scenes, the explosions, man, even just the character acting is great. Such a good sense of space, timing, and overall just good, solid drawing. My jaw dropped several times just watching the first episode. They really sold how wild Man-Bat was. The reason they went with Man-Bat for the first villain was because they wanted a villain that was lesser known so they could make him their own, without any preconceived notions like the Joker. And it was smart, because what we got was a tight, gorgeously animated first look into what would become one of the greatest series of all time. And I'll see you tomorrow as we look at some more.